Good morning, welcome to this video. My name is Kate and this morning we're going to be doing some baking with some bananas. It's that age-old issue, isn't it, where something like chicken, we're all trying to find different ways to make chicken for our families, and the same is with bananas. I've got bananas here of varying ripeness, and I thought today is the day that I'm just going to use them in some kind of baking, and if possible some recipes that are super freezer friendly as well, so that they can be baked and then just popped away for future use in the week. I've got 3 or 4 recipes that I would like to bake with you today. Most of them are going to be going into the oven, but I've got one recipe that I may do just on the stovetop as well. But either way, they're all super easy. I don't really these days try recipes that are particularly difficult. I have done a little bit of prep first, just to make it a little bit quicker. We're all looking for recipes, I'm sure, where we get to the end of the week and no one's eaten the bananas and they're starting to go, varying stages of spotty or brown like these ones here. So these recipes are just super easy and will help to use up those bananas that you've got sitting at the end of your bench. So for this first recipe, which is a beautiful banana chocolate loaf, I've done a little bit of prep to start with. So I've already got my mashed banana. This is 3 mashed bananas. And I've also got 2 of the egg whites that were in this recipe that needed to be whipped up to form stiff peaks. So this is what they look like. First of all, I'm going to mix all the dry ingredients. So in this bowl, I've got 175 grams each of sugar and flour. This is self-raising flour. And then into here, I'm going to put 100 grams of chocolate. You can use dark chocolate or milk chocolate, whatever you prefer. I've got half a teaspoon of baking soda and then 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So this is just all going to get mixed together lightly. Now we're going to start on our wet ingredients. So into this bowl I'm popping the bananas. So this is 3 mashed bananas. I've got 100 ml of oil. This is a plain vegetable oil, just something that's not too strongly flavoured. And then 50 ml of milk. And again, this can be any kind of milk. If you can't have dairy milk, then you could pop oat milk or soy milk, whatever works for you would be fine. And then the eggs, I've got, this is 3 eggs, but one of them is only a whole egg, and then 2 yolks. And then, as I showed before, the extra 2 whites have been made into the stiff peaks. So the eggs are going to go into there, and we're just going to mix this together until it's slightly combined. And then into this mixture we're just going to start folding in the egg whites. So about half of that mixture. And we're just lightly folding this in, so we don't want to lose all of the air that is in these egg whites. So we don't want to, too vigorously be stirring this. We're just gently folding it in. So there we go. There's our mixture all mixed together. It's quite a wet mixture, but this is how it's meant to be. It will make a lovely moist loaf. So we're just going to get this mixture into a prepared loaf tin, and I wanted to do this recipe first because it's going to be baking for over an hour, about an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 minutes. And it just means I can get on with the remainder of the other recipes while this is baking. This next recipe is a Jamie Oliver banana oat pancake recipe, and it's super easy and super quick and great if you just want to pop these into the freezer. You can pull them out, you know, on a busy weekday morning, or just have them on a weekend together. And it's actually done in a food processor. Don't worry if you don't have a food processor, you can easily mix this by hand as well. One of the things that makes this recipe really great is that he uses mug measurements. So rather than having to weigh all the ingredients, you just use the same mug for your measurements, and it makes it super easy. So I've just got in here 2 bananas, and I'm just going to whiz those together. And then into here, we're going to pop half a mug of oats, porridge oats. One mug of milk. Milk of your choice. You could use dairy milk or, you know, any other plant-based milk. Two mugs of self-raising flour. I've just got normal flour here, so to make it into a self-raising flour, I'm going to use per cup of flour 1.5 teaspoons of added baking powder as well. And again, we're just going to whiz all of this together until it's smooth. Hopefully my food processor is big enough. A little bit of vanilla as well. And a pinch of salt. I'm just going to get 2 pans on the go here, heating up, and then we'll just cook this in batches.
I did end up adding a little more milk into this batter, probably about 1/4 cup more, just to get it to the right consistency that I liked. And I also pulsed it first before I completely whizzed it in the food processor.
These are wonderful. Look how thick and fluffy they are. Really happy with how they've turned out.
My daughter enjoyed these with mango and golden syrup drizzled over, but any fruit would be yummy, yogurt as well, and maple syrup maybe.
These next 2 recipes are going to be made at the same time. So I've got my oven now on 180 degrees Celsius, and the first recipe I'm going to do is a breakfast cookie. These are great to make a double batch of and pop them in the freezer. They're great if you've got teenagers who are running out the door, you know, on the go during the week, and they just need something quick to grab. And the last recipe I'm going to do is a banana chocolate chip muffin. These are great to put into lunch boxes or just lunches to take to work. Super easy recipe and quick as well. So let's get started on the breakfast cookies. So I've got 3 bananas here that I'm going to be mashing up to start with. Now a little tip for mashing these, super easy, is to use your potato masher. It just gives a bigger surface area that you can mash them all together rather than using a fork. Okay, so those are all mashed up nicely now, so we'll move on to our dry ingredients. Into this bowl I'm going to put 200 grams of rolled oats, quick oats, 100 grams of peanut butter. This recipe is brilliant because it's literally just you pop everything into one bowl and then you mix it together. No creaming required or anything that's going to be too time consuming. And then we've got runny honey, 50 grams of that. Teaspoon of cinnamon. And then chocolate chips are optional, but I always put them in because the kids like those. So we've got 40 grams.
And in goes the banana as well. These breakfast cookies are really, really great if you've got kids who, are a little bit picky and don't have such a big appetite in the morning, or if you've got teenagers on the go that are just grabbing something and running out the door. The high protein with the oats and the peanut butter in there as well. You could also add in protein powder, anything else to up the protein amount. And they keep really well in the fridge. Obviously, you can pop them in the freezer as well and take them out when they are needed. But I just find that they get eaten pretty quickly, even as a snack, after school snack with some yogurt or some fruit. They're a really wonderful option for breakfast or lunch boxes to have in your fridge. And these go into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes on 180 degrees Celsius, or until they're just slightly brown on top.
And my last recipe is banana choc chip muffins, and it's perfect because the recipe calls for 3 bananas and that is what I have got left. So I'm just going to get these mashed up. So I've got 220 grams of brown sugar in here, and then I'm going to put in 100 grams of either melted butter or oil. 65 mils of milk of your choice. And then I've got half a teaspoon of cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of mixed spice. And I'm going to add the banana as well. And give that a good mix. And then I'm going to sift in half a teaspoon of baking soda and 190 grams of plain flour. I've just got this on my scale and I've just tiered it to 0. So 190 grams. And then into here we're going to put our chocolate. So 250 grams of chocolate. Now I'm going to fill these patty cases about 3/4 of the way full, and they're going to go into an oven 170 degrees Celsius for about 15 to 20 minutes.
These cupcakes were actually divine, In New Zealand, we have a chocolate brand called Whittaker's Chocolate. Some of you may have tried it. I'm not sure if you can buy it overseas, but certainly if you've been to New Zealand, you would know about Whittaker's Chocolate. So this recipe for these cupcakes were meant to have Whittaker's chocolate in them, but I just used chocolate drops that I had in my pantry. But definitely they would have been even more delicious if they did have, some of that luxury chocolate drops or broken up chocolate in them. All of these recipes, as I've said earlier, they freeze really well. So you could do double or triple batches easily and just pop them into your freezer and, take them out if you've got guests, or they could be in there to pull out for lunch boxes, holiday times, picnics, anything that works well for your family. But most certainly they can all be frozen. And the brilliant thing about bananas is, if you've got them sitting there and they are starting to really get a bit too ripe, then you can put them into the freezer. They can be frozen in different ways, either with the whole peel on them still, that's perfectly fine. Or you could unpeel them and just pop them whole into the freezer like that. Some people even peel them and then mash them up and freeze them into little like banana pucks, from an ice cube tray, something like that. And then they also store well in the freezer. The only thing you would have to be mindful of is that when you are going to defrost them and thaw them out, a lot of liquid will start to come out of them because they have been frozen. So the best thing to do would be to thaw them out and then strain off any liquid that has come off of them so that your baking is not too mushy. The banana and chocolate loaf that we made was super moist and really, really easy just to slice up and put into your freezer. Or if you've got teenagers like I do in my household, then it's probably not going to last very long. But either way, all of these recipes are super friendly if you're not a very experienced baker. The recipes are really easy to follow and they would be super helpful even if you're going to be a new mum or a new mum, just to bake these and pass them on.
Thank you for joining me today. These recipes are perfect for enjoying straight away, or you can pop them into your freezer and use them for something later on. But let me know in the comments if you have tried any of the recipes. I will definitely link them down below, of course. And until my next video, I'll see you again. Have a great week. Bye.